Here we go. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jennifer Barber. I'm your Assistant Vice President of Alumni Relations and the Sacramento State Alumni Association. We are so glad that you could join us this afternoon for our winter sports edition of Meet the Coaches. And before we start with coach introductions, I want to introduce Cheryl Boyce and say thank you to Cheryl for all of her help in coordinating this. Cheryl, did you want to say anything as we get started?
Just thank you for attending, and I'll be in the chat room and, filtering some of the questions there. Thank you, everybody, for your interest and stingers up. We're looking forward to a fun afternoon.
Thank you, Cheryl. And she makes a good point. If you would like to chat with any of your fellow attendees, please do so in the chat box. If you have questions for our panelists, you can use the Q&A feature to post your questions, and Cheryl will be addressing those towards the end of our event. We will be recording this and sharing it on YouTube at a later date. So thank you for being here to all of our coaches. And with that, we will jump in and get going. I am going to start with women's basketball and Coach Harkleroad. You could do a quick introduction.
Thanks for being on this afternoon. My name is Bunky Harkleroad, and I'm in just completed my seventh season at Sac State, and I'm our women's basketball coach.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here. How about Coach Solorio in gymnastics?
Good afternoon. My name is Randy Solorio, head coach women's gymnastics. Goodness gracious, I have been around the university for 36 years, but going into my 5th or 6th year as head coach.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here. How about track and field, Coach McDaniel?
Yes, thank you, Cheryl and Jennifer. Really appreciate you guys putting this on. Again, Kenny McDaniel, Director of Cross Country and Track and Field, and I'm the puppy of the bunch. I've been here now for 1 year.
Well, welcome to campus.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So men's golf, Coach Brakel.
Yeah, Camden Brakel, men's golf. Going on my 6th season as head coach.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us today. Women's golf, Coach Sutherland.
Hello, everybody. My name is David Sutherland, and I'm going into my 14th year of coaching at SAC, and about my 6th or 7th year of just coaching the women's golf team.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. And how about cheer and Coach Blanc?
Thanks for having me, everyone. My name is James Blanc. It's been my 6th year as a cheer coordinator at Sac State.
Wonderful. And for all our viewers out there, we will have Coach Katz joining us. So when he's able to come on screen, we will have him do a quick introduction. But in the meantime, we'll get started with some kind of fun, break the ice, rapid fire questions. So I will just throw those out and call on you guys to share your answer. Do any of you have a nickname with your student athletes? Coach McDaniel.
They just call me Coach Mac to make it short. So yeah, Coach Mac is what it is.
Awesome. How about gymnastics, Randy?
Well, whenever I send emails, my email tag is Randolph. So they call me Randolph.
How formal.
Yes.
And Camden, how about you with golf?
They just say Coach Camden, or if they're really familiar, they'll just say Cam for short.
Nice. How about Coach Sutherland?
They all just call me Coach.
Keep it simple.
Yeah,
that works. How about Coach Harkleroad?
Kind of funny because they call me Coach Bunky, which is my nickname, or they call me by Bernard, my real name, and it's usually with sarcasm when they call me something.
Kind of like when you used to get in trouble from your parents?
Bernard, hey.
Yeah. All right. What about Coach Blanc?
Just Coach, nothing crazy here.
All right. How about this one? Hands up if anyone has some favorite workout music that gets you pumped up before a big practice or game. No one? Oh, come on, Randy. You've got to have some music. That's part of your sport.
I don't have a particular favorite song, but we train every day with music playing, and it's usually the best is between the 60s to the 80s music for me. That gets me going.
I coach the women's team, and I have had a few Swedish gals, and so yeah, I have seen them absolutely cranking the ABBA on the driving range before a 36-hole round. I'm talking Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia, the whole thing. And they have very specific routines. I think they're crazy. Like, I could not get that amped up and then go play golf, but they are really, it's impressive, to be quite frank with you. But it's all ABBA, 100%.
Well, it's got a good beat. You can dance to it and you can sing along. So it's really.
Yeah, my wife does. My assistant coach does. I'm the only grumpy butt in the whole group. Literally.
It's a group activity. Yeah, that's all right. How about we pivot to superpowers, and I will call on each of you. So whoever wants to go first, or I'll just call you out. If you had a superpower, what would that be?
Oh, I don't know if it's a superpower, but I'd like to fly. Maybe as part of the sport, but just to fly, because it's a great feeling to fly.
I think that's definitely a superpower. How about you, Coach McDaniel?
Ooh, I was sitting here thinking, if I had to guess one, I would say superpower. Maybe, if you lose a loved one, you can bring one back per year. That'd be a great superpower, so I would love to bring my dad back. I think that'd be awesome to spend more time with him. So that'd be my only superpower right now. Just pops into my mind.
That would be fantastic. How about you, Coach Harkleroad?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I like the being able to fly, Coach, and being able to bring someone back. Maybe I need to have a superpower that helps me develop a really strong sense of patience. That's as good as I got right now.
I can see the value in that in many applications, so not a bad one. How about you, Coach Blunk?
Mine would probably be this would go well for all sports, being able to be indestructible to where you don't have injuries. I think that's probably most coaches' dream right there.
Wolverine minus the blades for fingers?
Pretty much. Blades could be fun though.
All right. How about you, Coach Brakel?
Oh, I thought I had mine and then you guys threw some in there. I initially thought flying and then the patience really stuck with me. So I'll go with Coach Bunky, and patience is I think would be a much appreciated superpower for me.
I bet all of your players would appreciate that too.
Yeah.
How about you, Coach Sutherland? Superpower.
Yeah, there's a scene in Superman where Superman flies around orbits the Earth fast enough to make time go backwards. I would love to be able to do that, so I would do so many less stupid things. Like, I would be doing it like every day. Like, all right, gotta go back an hour. Totally forgot to get to the meeting or whatever it was.
That would be awesome.
It would be like really simple things though. Like, I would be just, oh my gosh, I'm 15 minutes late. Okay, I gotta fly around her fist. That's what I would love to do though.
Done.
But I do like Coach's thing, being able to bring something back to life. Man, amen to that.
Yeah, I think we all have those special people in our lives that if we had that opportunity to spend more time with them, we wouldn't pass it up. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So in this time where we've all been a little more remote than we would ideally like to be, what has been your favorite thing to binge watch? Coach Brakel, you get to go first this time.
Binge watch. My wife and I really enjoy Blue Bloods, so that's just kind
Tom
of
Selleck.
Yeah. So I've really been getting into reading too. So I've been trying to do less Netflix, more reading, and so it's been. I would say that would be my go-to.
All right. How about you, Coach Solorio?
Well, I'm trying to make it only watch TV at night, not during the day at all. But I've already rewatched Haunting of Hill House, went all the way back to Alias with Jennifer Garner,
Yes.
and just finished Umbrella Academy. I mean, it sounds like I have a lot of time, but I've got some evenings free.
Well, I've got the second season of Umbrella Academy queued up and ready to go. So,
It's very good. I enjoyed it.
oh, good. Coach Bunky.
Binge watched way too many things, but most recently it was Unexplained Mysteries, Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, the first season.
Nice.
Write that one down.
Coach McDaniel, what are you watching before your time will not be your own once your baby gets here?
Yep, you're right about that. Well, my wife and I definitely been taking advantage of binge watching. We actually watched 2 full seasons of Law and Order, and then we also watched a whole season of SWAT. So yeah, that we up to early morning hours watching those episodes. So that's what we've been doing for the last probably 10 weeks.
Nice. Well, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yep, you're right.
Coach Sutherland, how about you?
Well, I think everybody knocked off the Ozarks pretty early in the pandemic, like everybody else in America. I've also binged chess. I'm not lying. I'm up to like mediocre right now at chess, but I'm playing like an hour or 2 every day, like at night, like around like 10 o'clock at night. I've been playing. I know it sounds stupid, but I mean, I like it. It makes you think.
Yeah, that must be when the strategy kicks in around 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and I've been like, I enjoy having a couple beers with my wife in the backyard, but I'm like a little bit everybody else. Like, you're trying to like, okay, I've, got to be more productive.
We do what we do to get by day. And how about you, Coach Blanc? What's your favorite binge watch?
He said, Ozark. I kicked that thing through in about a week. And House of Cards was my favorite. And I actually rewatched almost all of West Wing. That was a favorite of mine way back when. So
awesome. Sounds like fun. One that came up with the fall coaches was Yellowstone. So if you're looking for your next thing, Yellowstone was a common theme amongst those folks. So moving into kind of advice and looking backwards, if you could look back at your younger self, what one piece of advice would you give your younger self? Coach Solorio, we'll call you first.
Well, Bunky mentioned it, and that's patience. There's not much we have control of except our own attitude and how we react. So my young self would stop trying to yell louder to make things work faster, because it doesn't work, and just realize there's a process, and it's going to happen with patience. But it took me till I'm almost 60 to figure it out.
Some lessons are harder than others, so I appreciate that. Coach Bunky, since he referenced you, what would your piece of advice be?
I got to double down on the patience theme.
All right, got a theme here. How about you, Coach Blanc?
Going with that, being coachable. I mean, when I was younger, I definitely was a little hothead for sure. And when you're coaching kids, you look at them and be like, well, that was me. I definitely know how to figure that one out because that was me. So
you ever feel like you're getting penance, like payback for the way you treated your coaches?
All the time.
Coach McDaniel, how about you?
Well, probably, I'll never forget, one of my mentors told me one time, and I use it to this day with my athletes on the team now, and I never forget, he told me, focus on what's right and not who's right. And that's, I really wish I would have known that when I was younger, because when you focus on what's right and not who's right, it eliminates your mind from being cluttered. So I really wish I would have known that when I was an athlete, because I listened to too many people. And I think if you focus on what's right and not who's right, you can make some quality decisions in life. And so I use that with everything, like from recruiting to staffing to travel to making family decisions. So with me, it's just focus on what's right and not who's right. That helps me tremendously. So I thank my mentor for giving me that 16 years ago.
Great words to live by. Thank you for sharing. Coach Brakel.
For me, when I was younger, and I still am, I'm more on the shy side. But I would definitely say ask more questions. There's a lot of things that were left unanswered that I had in my mind, and things I wish I, kind of explored. And, but at the end of the day, I can just learn from now and, move on. But asking questions, I think, would be a huge one for me.
Absolutely. I tell that to my team every day. Coach Sutherland, how about you?
Well, I think when you're talking about mentors and stuff, I think most of us probably have had quite a few of them. And I love what Coach McDaniel said, by the way. I played a long time in the PGA Tour before I started coaching. And the one thing about being out there was just really good energy from a lot of guys. And I was back in 1999 when I first was on tour. I had a mentor of mine named Dave Stockton who won a few events on the PGA Tour and a few majors, and he talked to me about looking at yourself as your own unique individual and not trying to compare yourself with all the other players that are out there. And that's really hard to do sometimes, particularly if somebody's really talented and really, really good. And so you can start to doubt yourself. And so as it relates to my coaching, I try to identify about 3 things that I really, really care about as a coach, good energy, commitment, and confidence. And I try to just ignore the rest, and particularly in a sport like golf where it's like really hard, you know what I mean? Like there's just going to be days where you're going to screw up. But if I can identify those 3 things and then make them a part of what the gals on my team identify as what is important to me, and then I don't really, have to make a bogey, or if they have a bad day, I'm willing to accept that as long as you played with confidence, you played committed, and you played with good energy. I just can't stress enough, like on the PGA Tour, like no matter how bad like a guy like Tiger's playing, and the times where he plays bad, he never doesn't look like he has good energy, ever. And that was my huge takeaway from competing out there and then taking that into coaching in college when you're dealing with gals and guys who have oftentimes a lot less confidence in themselves and will sometimes be, I'm sorry, I'm getting really long here, so I'll wrap it up. That's good.
You're kind of pre-answering some future questions, so
Oh, my bad.
No, it's all good. We'll just
really blabbermouth, so just mute me.
I won't just mute you, but we appreciate your insight. One more kind of rapid fire question, and then we'll move into a little more about your inspiration on being a coach. What is your favorite pre-workout, pre-game, or maybe even quarantine meal? Let's see, who wants to go first? Randy, you always are laughing or something. It draws my eye to you. So I'm going to call on you first again.
Well, my quarantine meal, I guess I'm going back to my youth. I just love my bowl of cereal with a banana. It's simple, it's easy, but having to figure out what to eat every day is killing me. I read somewhere as an adult, as a kid, no one tells you have to realize what you're going to make for dinner every day. So sometimes it's cereal.
Well, that makes me think of Coach McDaniel, because I know when my kids were little, my least favorite question every day is what's for dinner. So Coach McDaniel, what would your favorite meal be?
Ooh, well, I actually have modified my my meals in the last, so since March, I want to say March, the day after they announced we couldn't go back to campus, which was like March 13th. So I haven't had meat. Today is my 138th day.
Wow.
So, talking about meals, my meals has changed dramatically in a positive way. So I'm eating nothing but beans and rice, but I'm not vegan. I'm still having my eggs and yogurt and smoothies and whatnot. But my diet has changed since the day we haven't been allowed to do much with our student athletes. So I want to do something positive. I didn't want to just sit home and gain weight. So I just wanted to do something that was challenging to me. And after the first 3 weeks was hard.
Yeah, I was going to say, how hard was that?
Well, it was like anything else, when you go cold turkey. But I'm from Texas, so I love barbecue. But I just decided not to, and I noticed a lot of differences with my health. I changed dramatically. So I'm happy with it, and so that's my go-to. I'm just limiting meat, so I don't know how long I'll go, but I know today's been 138 days. That's what I do know.
Wow. Well, congratulations. Maybe you'll inspire the rest of us to think more about what we're eating. Coach Blunk, how about you?
Oh, I'm so opposite of what he just said.
Have you gone to an all-meat diet?
I got a Traeger and I pretty much use it every night. So
Barbecue, yeah.
Yeah, almost every night, probably like the last 2 months.
All right.
Yeah, so that's just me.
Nice. Coach Bunky.
I went a good portion of the season without meat, and since quarantine, I've been team red meat on the grill as much as possible. So I've been the opposite of Coach Kenny. So
maybe you and Coach Blunk can share some best rubs and recipes for the barbecue. Coach Brakel.
Yeah, I 2 favorite meals: breakfast and dinner. So breakfast between sweet and savory. Love my breakfast burritos, but I also love like French toast. And then I'm with these guys, barbecue, ribs and steaks and all that stuff. So I'm all over the map.
It's good. Diversity is good. Coach Sutherland.
Well, I've been giving up Coke and I'm off of dairy, but I'm weak. I don't, man, Coach McDaniel, we got to talk or something. You got to get me inspired because I want to lose some weight. I have my gals I coach are really health conscious and they're always kind of yelling at me to eat better. But as far as like a pregame meal, I mean, the gals, they just eat a lot of protein and stuff and
nice.
Get some carbs in, But we play 36 holes a lot, so it's like,
that's a
12
long haul.
hours, literally. It's a long day.
Yeah.
A marathon. But I'm inspired by Coach there. That's 132 days. That's impressive.
138.
38. Yeah, you want the credit. Oh, yeah.
Don't cheat him out of those 6 days.
The hard part is the first day you have meat, though. Like, can you have a little meat and then not go like, oh, I'm back? Or can you or is it just gone forever?
Well, once I share with you some of the benefits, you might not.
That's what I'm wondering. Have you lost some weight and are you like sleeping better?
Yeah, I tell you, man, it's been amazing. I will say, try for 10 days and then talk to me.
All right.
Sounds like you two can schedule a nutrition meeting by Zoom and strategically plan your attack.
Man, I'm telling you, that's impressive.
Oh my!
Lots of money too.
You're right about that.
So Cheryl is showing us Coach Katz. Hi, Coach Katz.
Can you hear them?
I can hear him a little bit, yes.
Okay.
Coach, do you want to say anything, share anything with folks? We have talked about what's your nickname with players, what's your superpower if you could have one, what's your favorite meal, what are you binge watching in quarantine? So tell us a little bit about you, Coach Katz.
Don't really want to know the nicknames they would call me. That wouldn't be good. Not sure about that. Love to be invisible. Love to be in the opposing team's huddle knowing what the next play is. That would make me a really good coach really quick. Binge watching. I'm going to sound dated, but The Sopranos. I'd never seen that before. And what was the next thing, like my favorite meal?
Yes.
Oh, gosh, I don't know about that. That's a hard one. Oh, I'll just say spaghetti and meatballs. It sounds good,
Hey, and it goes with The Sopranos, kind of an Italian theme there.
Yeah. All right, I'm with it. Awesome.
Well, we are just about to kick into the section of getting to know a little bit more about what inspires you in coaching. So let's start with you, Coach Katz. What inspired you to become a coach?
I'm not really sure. I knew from the time I was very young I wanted to coach. I actually, as a 7th grader, you'll laugh, started my coaching career. I coached my younger brother. He was a 4th grader at the time. And learned a little bit about coaching. He scored 26 to 28 points. We lost by 2, and I blamed him after the game. So you learn all about player relations real quick. You better have a good relationship with your players.
Yeah, especially when they're your brother.
Yeah, he still kind of reminds me about that.
All right. Well, let's keep with basketball and go to Coach Bunky. What inspired you to become a coach?
My father was a basketball referee, and my mother worked for a college basketball coach. So I was raised in the gym, and being from Kentucky, we do a lot of basketball there. And is just being raised around the game. And I knew early on I wanted to coach as well. So I think it was just in my blood and something I've always been very passionate about. And that's how we got here.
Awesome. How about you, Coach Solorio?
Well, growing up, I didn't have any desire to be a coach. It wasn't really on my radar. I just did the sport of gymnastics, kind of fell into it. When you're a kid in the gym coaching, they say, hey, do you want to teach? So you end up teaching some classes. So I started teaching small children. I started enjoying it. And then my mom would always say, you know, you do what you do best, and you seem to be a good teacher, so keep going. Then got introduced to Kim Hughes, who was the head coach at the time at Sac State. We really got along well. I started coaching with him at a private club. Then the next thing you know, I'm helping him at the college, and I just fell into a love affair of coaching.
Well, that's fantastic. It's great to do what you love and love what you do. Coach Blunk, how about you?
I was inspired until a little later in life. When I was in high school, I played other sports, football and baseball and stuff. And when you're in high school at the time, you'd like assist with the youth programs. So that was kind of fun to me, but I never knew I would be doing cheerleading later in life. And then cheerleading brought my personality out a little bit, which is great, and it gets you to interact with people a little bit more. And then in the industry, you're around all these great names, and you see these great coaches, and you're like, wow, I'd love to do what they're doing. That person inspired me, so I want to be like that. And as it came just to be around great coaches around different colleges and stuff, it's just something I realized I wanted to do.
Fantastic. How about you, Coach Sutherland? You talked a little bit about the shift from pro to coaching. Is there any more you'd add there?
I grew up in Sacramento, and my dad was in the Air Force, and we didn't really have a whole lot of money, and we kind of grew up at the public golf course. And there was two folks, Don Bauckham and John McGregor, that had coached me my whole life and were great mentors, and they both coached me for free. They didn't ever charge me a dime. This is all the way through my PGA Tour career. So I really wanted to find something to do when I got done with playing that I could, I don't know, maybe feel like I'm giving back to a community that I really like. And then coaching, like the first time a kid tells you that you changed their life, it's like a drug almost, like it's really powerful. And I get a chance to coach a team that's super diverse in terms of like gals from all different parts of the world and different backgrounds, and you're trying to bring them together and make this community better. And so I've really grown to enjoy it a lot. I really do. And I really like coaching in Sacramento too. I think we have really good sort of moral backbone within our department and the programs. I love coaching with the other coaches here at Sac State. I have a lot of fun doing it. But I just like helping people. I really do. If I wasn't coaching, I would be doing something else, either teaching or involved in youth golf here in Sacramento.
Well, changing lives. I mean, it's huge. It is powerful, like you said.
Yeah. The reality of I'm sorry, but very few of the gals I coach are ever going to play professionally. I mean, like, it's just as good as we are. Like, most collegiate athletes, college life is going to end at the end of college, and so you have to remember that when you're coaching, that like it's got to lead to something. Like it's got to there has to be a purpose to this, and so finding that is I really like it. I like trying to figure out how to help somebody.
Yeah, giving them those life skills for when the sport's not their everything. Coach Brakel.
Coaching kind of found me. I wasn't looking for it. I have David Sutherland to thank for that too. My sister played at Sac State on the college team for David, and so that was my relationship with Sacramento State. And then when the coaching job opened up, that's when put in my name, put in my resume, and thankfully it was a great match, and I haven't looked back since. So
awesome.
It's been awesome.
How about you, Coach McDaniel? What inspired you?
Mine was very similar to Katz and Bunky. My mom was she coached track and field in high school for 32 years back in Texas, and I realized when I was 7, 8 years old that I wanted to coach. I realized it was a noble profession, and that's the way I see it. I agree with all the other coaches. We build relationships, we build character, we have the discipline. They come back to us and thank us years later. But I just realized that, you know, it's a noble profession, and that's why that's what inspires me every day. Because I realize I realize that I'm not bigger than the sport, and I love being a part of something that's bigger than me. That's the beauty of it right there. So, but it's just a noble profession, and that's what inspires me to be part of it.
Yeah. Thank you. Maybe I can tap you to go a little bit further on that with what's your favorite thing about being a coach specifically at Sac State, being a Hornet?
Myself?
Yes.
Well, you know, with me, I tell you, being new is fun because y'all learn something new every day about the university, about the athletic department, about the city of Sacramento. So for me, it's like a honeymoon, and it's always fun being in that honeymoon phase. So I'm loving all the people that I've met. You know, I've met some really fun and smart individuals. Have a wonderful staff that I brought on here at Sac State. I'm part of the Optimist Club, which those guys helped me tremendously when I first got here. That is a wonderful group. So I got a chance to connect with a lot of people. So I'm really having a blast. Like it's a time in my life where I'm extremely comfortable. So, you know, where I'm at right now, and the best part is just, you know, being able to connect with people.
Awesome. Let's shoot over to Coach Katz again. And Coach Katz, what's your favorite part about Sac State and being a coach as part of the Hornet family?
Well, it's always about your kids, your players, student athletes. You know, just really I love the fact that I'm coaching at university that I attended and graduated from, and then B, you just love the fact that you know you will have a great effect in their life. You know, for us, 42 of our 43 guys have graduated. Only one guy in 12 years. We actually went through the other day and showed our guys. 9 of our guys are currently playing professionally. Now let's show you the other guys that are not. What are they doing? And they got fantastic jobs. And so you'd like to feel like you had a part in that. And I tell our guys, we're trying to give you a set of skills even beyond the degree. You know, ability to empower others, ability to communicate, ability to lead a meeting, ability to stare someone in the eyes and speak honestly, yet with kindness and compassion as well. So all those things are huge. You're just developing young people, which I don't know if there's anything better than that.
Very true. And you hit a nice point there. It's always fun as well to see alumni come back and continue to mentor and coach students at their alma mater. And I know, Randy, you're also an alum. So what's your favorite part of being a Sac State coach at Sac State?
Well, it's obviously I've been here a long time, and our department, even back when I started to now, to use the cliche, it is a family. We all enjoy each other's company. We have fun with each other. And the entire department is about the student athlete. We all do like to win, there's no doubt about it. But our goal is to work with the student athlete to reach their goal academically as a student. And that does give great pleasure. I mean, we love our sports, but there's always more to it. You know, kind of like David said, after 4 years, we're not going pro in gymnastics either. So we have to think, you know, what are we here for? And you feel that support from every coach in our department and across the campus. We have an incredible campus with great support from the president on down.
Fantastic. How about you, Coach Bunky? Your favorite part about Sac State?
I love the community. It's been great over the last 7 years getting to know the community. Not only do we have a great group of coaches to work with in our building and on campus, it's just a great group of people to be around. Got Coach Katz's crew right down the hall, and Randy around the corner, and Catherine and Susan always keep us hopping in the building. So there's really no bad days there. And at the end of the day, it's a great community, but having the opportunity to help people every day and to think that you can help someone get somewhere they couldn't have gone on their own is great. So.
Awesome. How about you, Coach Blunk?
Yeah, I mean, you could echo a lot of what they're saying. And cheer's a little unique because we do so many different events and things during the year. And some of the great part is how beautiful the campus is that people really don't know when they're coming to Sac State. We have a lot of our first years that they'll come, but if they maybe didn't see the campus before, that's the first thing they say, like, this campus is beautiful. And you're like, yeah, it's great. Get more people come here.
Yeah.
So get them on the team. But yeah, I think what I like about it is we work out of the marketing department with Adam and them, and everyone's super helpful all the time anywhere we go on campus and stuff. So I do really love how everyone works together really well at Sac State.
Fantastic. It looks like we lost Coach Sutherland for a minute. Hopefully he'll pop back in. But Coach Brakel, how about you? Your favorite thing about Sac State?
Yeah, it's the community, hands down. Sacramento community, Sacramento State, alumni, the golf courses that we work with. We rely on community support on the golf courses, and here locally in Sacramento. So that's where we practice, that's where we play, and so without them, we wouldn't have a team. So everyone from Sacramento State to the coaches to the help staff, it's a pretty awesome place to work.
And I think community is a theme, and it is something all of us on campus enjoy, cherish, and honestly, we miss it right now when we're not able to be there day to day. Let's transition a little bit to things specific about your sport, and tell me, what is your favorite thing about cheer, Coach Blunk?
Cheer, okay. Well, cheer is very different. We do football, basketball, volleyball, events. Go to nationals in January in Orlando, Florida, and then we have a stunts type season, which is a competitive game of cheerleading if you've never seen it or heard of it, and that goes on during April. So we're going, pretty much the whole year, which is great. And I think just the best thing about it is our student athletes get a great opportunities. One week we may do something 7 days a week, but they love it. They're just, they'll go do a football game on Saturday. We'll go do a heart walk that morning. Then on Sunday morning, we'll do a fundraising event or something like that. And they just love it. So we do a lot, but it's all exciting, and they love to support athletics and that. And then they love their opportunity to get their chance to compete as well. So we get to do a little bit of everything, which is great.
Well, it sounds like you keep them very busy too.
Busy as possible.
Let's transition to golf, and let's see, Camden, what's your favorite thing about golf?
There's a lot of things, but the main thing is the discipline. Golf is one of the few sports where the harder you try, the worse you do. And that
I can attest to that.
That can get very frustrating, especially when things aren't going well. So I enjoy the pursuit of being disciplined, of keeping your mind calm, just staying the course, trusting yourself. Your opponent's a little different than other sports, and you're playing against 100 other guys, but you're not playing directly against them. So it's a good battle that I've always enjoyed, and that is still intriguing to me. So I've always loved the game, and so it's fun to be able to help my young guys try to figure it out as well.
Sounds like a lot of good life lessons in golf there. Coach Sutherland, how about you? What are your favorite things about the game of golf?
I like the fact that it's hard. I like the fact that it's outside, and I like the fact that it's also a social sport. Like, I think it's cool that I think it's hard in a sport like basketball because you're competing so hard against your opponent, or in a sport like tennis. It's such a different environment than a sport like golf. Like, the guys by and large get along really well, and the gals do too. And so I enjoy that part of the game, but I just like it that it's hard. And I like that, I like a challenge, I like doing things that are really, really difficult. And it is a sport you can play your whole life, and I like the fact that I'm in my 50s and I can still compete myself, which is I know there's many sports you can still compete that long. which some people say that means you don't have to be a very good athlete to play it. If you can still compete in your 50s.
No.
I mean, like, you know, I don't know, there's many basketball players playing basketball in their 50s, you know, tearing an ACL trying to dunk it.
That's a good transition. Why don't we kick over to men's basketball with Coach Katz? And what's your favorite thing about the sport of basketball?
You know, just I'm biased, obviously. I think it's the ultimate team game. I really do. It's poetry in motion when it's played the right way. The ball really moves, you know, minimal dribbling, I'll call opportunistic dribbling, passing, kicking, moving. And there becomes an energy, a synergy within the group. And I love that part. And when it's pretty funny. It's like when you know it's right, you don't really have to say anything. You just kind of feel it. You can feel it. And but I think it's the ultimate team sport. I do. I'm biased that way. But you know, everybody has to learn to sacrifice for the greater good and to play a role that will help be best for the team to be successful. So love that about the game. Love the self-sacrifice you have to have and all those things.
Well, and I love your analogy of poetry in motion. With that, Coach Bunky, what would you say your favorite thing about the sport of basketball?
Well, not only does basketball attract some of the best athletes on the planet, but chemistry matters in our sport more than anything. I don't know that there's a sport out there where chemistry matters among a group of people, because things happen so fast and it's just such a swing. So the chemistry aspect.
Yeah. How about track and field, Coach McDaniel? Your favorite thing about the sport?
Well, track and field is pretty, you know, we get the best of both worlds because it can be individual because each athlete have an individual event, but at the end of the year, it's all about a championship. So we are lucky. We get a chance to be outside and enjoy the rain, the wind, the cold. So I look at track and field like life because in life, you're gonna get it all. You're gonna get the good, you're gonna get the bad. So with us, I would refer everything with track and field with you're going to learn a lot, you know, and in our sport, a lot of other sports use our sport to get better for other sports, you know, as example, football. You know, we have about 5 or 6 football players who also do track. So it can help in many ways. It can help you with self-discipline. Because one thing about track, you have to eat right. You have to get rest. You have to do a lot of stuff to get prepared. Because the one thing about track is, I tell my athletes all the time, when that gun go off, you have to be ready to go. There's no wait. Can I come back next week? Can I go the next week? You have to be ready to go. It's kind of like when you pay taxes. You better be ready when that time is up, that deadline. So it's a lot relatable to life. And so that's what I love about it.
Yeah, and another sport, I mean, you can always keep running, right? Well into your 50s, Coach Sutherland, you can keep running.
That's true.
Coach Solorio, how about you? Your favorite thing about gymnastics?
I have to say my favorite thing about gymnastics is actually watching the athletes train every day, even after 30-something years, how amazing of an athletes they are and what they put their bodies through, their self-discipline, their love of the sport, because they have to love what they're doing because this sport is so hard on their bodies. But it is amazing to still watch them do what they do. And I've done it and I've watched it. And every time I go into the gym to watch what they can do amazes me. And I know that sounds simple, but they are incredible athletes. And of course, incredible young ladies as well. And I'm biased, I'm not gonna lie. It's my favorite sport.
I'm sure you're all biased and a bit competitive at heart. You know, like you said, the human body is the most amazing machine out there. And the things that we can do for the love of sport is impressive. With that, where we are in time, I am going to shift over to some Q&A from our audience. And Cheryl, are you able to do that? Or do you want me to field the questions since you're fielding Coach Katz?
I think I'm okay. I've been keeping an eye on the Q&As and some of the coaches have actually answered some of the questions. So I think we're we're good with the main one, the main question that keeps coming up and in the chat and in the questions is, what is going on with sports right now? Are we competing? Are we not competing? And the word is that we are hopeful. We're hopeful for our winter sports to be able to compete. Our fall sports look like they will be postponed until spring. And we just go day by day. You know, some of our athletes are here, some of our coaching staffs are here, following all the protocol and all of that. But for right now, it looks like fall sports will be moved to the spring, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for winter sports to go as scheduled, and we'll you know, follow all the guidelines and protocols as they see fit. School will be returning here shortly, and you know, though we'll be having a virtual campus. We did it in the spring, we'll do it in the fall, and we'll make it work.
All right. Well, I do have a couple more questions then that I can throw at you guys. How about, how do you balance athletics and academics with your athletes to ensure that, like many of you said, that they're ready for life, because most of them are not going into professional sports? How do you encourage that balance? Coach Funky.
We make sure our student athletes, you know, we monitor their attendance in class. We rely on Paul Edwards and the Stark and the great job they do, which they're lifesavers. We have weekly academic meetings with our players. So we really have a multi-tiered system in place to make sure everyone's on track, everyone's eligible, everyone's, you know, successful and can achieve some success early when they get here. So we have a multifaceted approach.
Fantastic. Coach Solorio, anything you'd add to that?
Well, I would love to take full credit for their great academics, but they, like all of us, they are student athletes and they're students first. We have an incredible student athlete resource center that they all take advantage of. I'm very fortunate that I have a group of young ladies that really strive to be the best in the gym as well as they do in the classroom. They take their competitive nature from the sport and put it into class because they want to be the best student as well as the best student athlete. We give them that opportunity and we really promote academics.
Absolutely. And great reports out of your department recently with how high the GPA is across all the sports. So impressive. Great work, everyone. Coach Sutherland, anything you would add to that balance between academics and student athlete?
Well, one of the advantages of an individual sport is it does allow for flexibility with class schedules. If you're coaching, say, a basketball team, you can't just like have half the team there. And so, you know,
True.
Right. And so in golf, one of the advantages we have is that when we do practice, like a gal can take a class till 1:15 and then just go practice 2 o'clock. Another gal can, you know, take an evening class and start practicing at 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, but we've had above a 3.5 GPA for quite a long time. And again, I think from the standpoint as a coach, you know, I mean, we're a long season. We start in September, we end in May. And it's just forever. And so, you know, you have to just kind of have that recognition that there's, and this again, that's something you can do in an individual sport, but there's going to be times where, you know, you're going to have to allow a kid to, you know, leave practice an hour early or whatever it is because they have a midterm or a final, because we just don't have an off semester or any time that's off. We're always playing. And so anyway, so from my perspective, it's a little bit easier though in golf, I suppose, than team sports, because you do have so much more flexibility in terms of when and even how much sometimes they practice. I mean, they can practice for 6 hours one day and 2.5 hours the next day, or for, you know, it just is different than football. I mean, so that's an advantage we have. Make no mistake, they work really hard though. They're always studying you know, they're almost kind of boring sometimes.
I think it's clear they all work really hard. Coach Katz, how about you? Academics and athletics, the balance.
Well, I think number one for us, we kind of figured out, we have to really adapt and adjust to our guys, their schedule. So, for example, we had Cody Dempsey here, who was an engineering major, and all the classes were labs in the afternoon. So that year we practiced first thing in the morning, I should say largely during his 4 years. So my guys way in advance, AJ Writing, our basketball ops guy, and along with Student Athletic Resource Center, they really let us know, Paul Edwards, Lori Dahlberg, way in advance. Hey, listen, this guy's got a class here. He needs this. It's at this time. So we think, number one, we adapt and adjust our schedule, and we're flexible because, like David said, you do want everyone at practice. But there are exceptions. Every now and then, a guy will have to leave early or come late, and that's fine. We all understand that. They'll make it up and know what we have to do. But that's number one. Then we have all kinds of checks and balances, from study hall to academic mentoring to Lori Dahlberg, who's our academic counselor, to, on our road trips, we have some form of study hall. We have 6 layers of support. Even one as simple as the very first day of class, they go to class and they give the instructor the letter and giving the exact dates they will miss. And I think that's really critical because they can start working with the instructor right then on anything that may come up. So we have 6 layers of support, and then we're very flexible in regard to our guys' schedules. That's
wonderful. Coach Blunt, what would you add to the balance of academics and sports?
Well, we have, on any given year between 35 and 50 cheerleaders. So it depends on the year. There's a ton of them. So for us, the big thing is just talking to them. I mean, as much as possible, we have 3 coaches on the staff, and we'll, spend that 15 minutes just roaming around when they're warming up, just chatting with them, making sure they're on cue, checking their grade reports and keeping up with that. The girls do a really good job holding each other accountable too. And the good thing about cheerleading is, if we have so many, there can be days where they can sit and study and, do an assignment if they need that extra help. And if they need a little extra motivation for school to keep them, motivated. In cheerleading, when you're stunting, you need 4 people all together. So if one of those people messes up, they don't get to do anything. So, that as a group, they can hold each other accountable a little more as a little extra incentive.
Accountability and flexibility, I'm sure, make a lot of things possible. Coach Brakel.
Yeah, accountability. I have to give a shout out to the SARC and Paul Edwards and his team. They are instrumental with what we do. So just holding them accountable, and then also their mentorship program, and some young men who need the help, they're there, and so that, and just as all the other coaches said, just trying to accommodate all the different schedules and practices are that's a big challenge.
Yeah. Coach McDaniel.
Well, pretty much the same as the other coaches. We have 75 plus athletes on our team. So my staff, they do a great job. Paul Edwards' staff, they do a good job of identifying the kids who are at risk, and so we make sure they don't slip through the cracks. And so that's the one thing I tell you. If it wasn't for Paul and his staff and my coaching staff, I probably wouldn't be sitting in this seat because I put a lot of emphasis on academics. I've sat out kids for a whole year because I felt like they need to focus on academics. So that's a subject that I can talk about all day. But I echo what all the coaches say as regarding accountability, just identifying the kids who need the help and checking all the boxes off. But yeah, I contribute a lot of that to Paul Edwards and his staff, to be honest.
Well, it's clearly working, so keep up the good work in that area. As we come to the end of our event today, I have one last question for everyone, and then a few parting comments. I'm hoping you can tell our viewers how they can support your team, your players, the student athletes during this time, and kind of what your biggest hope is for your season, beyond hoping that you'll be able to have your season. Why don't we start with Coach Blunk?
Oh, you caught me off guard. I did not think you were going to me first.
I called you first. Sorry.
So the hope for the year, again, is we hope we want sports to happen, right? Because we want to support all the sports. We want them to get out there, and we want to be there. As exciting as the sports are for everyone else. I mean, I've been to a lot of Sac State games over the years, and they're exciting. The environments, and so loved watching the football team last year. I mean, the basketball games are great. So they just want to get out there and support these teams. So, and then when that happens, they also want to have their opportunity, their thing, and get to Orlando for their national event and get their season going as well. So, they want everything to start. What was the other part of the question? I completely forgot.
How can our alumni and fans support you and the student athletes at this time?
Well, right now we're just doing a Zoom call a week, and they're being doing their workouts as much as they can, and we got some out-of-state people, which is great. Cheers evolved over the years. At Sac State, we used to only have people from Sacramento. Now we have some kids from Colorado this year, and a lot of different areas, which is great. So, I mean, any support you can shoot us a message and help us out in any way possible. That'd be great.
Wonderful. Coach Brakel, how about you? How can we support the men's golf team, and what are your hopes for the season?
Yeah, well, I hope we're able to, play a few tournaments in the fall, but it's looking less and less likely. So hopefully we have a full spring, semester, and we're able to do our championship in April. As far as support, just keep doing what you're doing. Our alumni have been awesome and checking in, and just seeing how things are going, and seeing a few of them on the golf course here and there. So it's been good to see the alumni out there, and but just keep interacting.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear they're showing up for you. Coach Solorio, how about you?
Well, we obviously start our competition in January, but we do train throughout the entire academic year. So that's what we have planned. Just like Cheryl said, we are day to day, sometimes hour to hour on how events are unfolding. But as of right now, our plan is to start training when we can. We do train off campus, so we're meeting the protocols on a private facility off campus that hopefully we'll be able to use. Keep our training going, and come January, our season has been a bit modified with travel and such, so we've made the precautions to stay within the region. And as our fans, boosters, donors, make sure you go to our Go Hornets or hornets.com, because we have a new
athletic fund
that is going to be, I'm hoping and feeling, a game changer in how you can help support us, of course, financially, as well as just knowing you're out there gives us great support and letting us know that you're there following us.
Fantastic. And we all want our students to be able to compete and do what they love, but in the safest way possible in this time. So fingers crossed that can happen. Coach Bunky, how about you?
Well, I think the best form of support we can have right now is for everyone to stay safe and healthy and be well, so we can all, so our fans and us can all be healthy when we do get to be in each other's company and chase our dreams and support our student athletes. So keep sending the love, stay healthy, if you're not feeling well, do what you got to do to get healthy. And our student athletes, they're just hoping for the opportunity to compete and to begin the journey. So that's what our hopes are right now, is to have the opportunity to chase the dream again. Well
said. How about you, Coach McDaniel?
Regarding, support, if they can just, just share their love with us, think of us, keep us in their prayers, because we're going to need a prayer for all of this that we are going through. And, I hope we have a season, and I hope everything come back. But, I really hope, because I talked to my team about this on numerous occasions, but what I really do hope, though, I really do hope that our kids and across the nation I hope they learn that sports, lives, people's jobs can be taken away within a few days. Because as you guys know, we all heard about this way back in February, and then by March, it was 6 million jobs lost. So I hope that, our student athletes who are young adults, learn that something can happen like this in a heartbeat. Because whoever would have thought 6 months ago or 5 months ago we'll be sitting in this position and have to wear masks everywhere we go and everything will be modified. So I hope that we all learn something from this. To just make sure we live to our fullest and make sure we don't take advantage of any situation. So I mean that is my overall take on it. I try to live like it might be my last day. So I hope our student athletes learn that when they come back, just really appreciate what we have, because this is a privilege. A lot of student athletes across the world would love to be able to compete and train and get scholarships and be in the dorms and travel and get per diem. So I just hope that they come back with a different mindset of appreciating what we have, to be honest.
Appreciation, yes, that would be a great takeaway from everything that's going on this year. Coach Sutherland, how about you?
Well, obviously this has been super challenging as a coach. We lost our spring season and now we've lost our fall season. From my perspective, I think it's just like what Coach McDaniel said. I think it's important to have perspective. A lot of people have a really difficult time right now. We've obviously lost way too many people to this pandemic. I think that the department and the university, they're making the right decisions to try to keep people safe and reduce the amount of people that are getting this virus. But we're in a different place right now. This is very, very different than any other place I've been in my 14 years of coaching, and probably very different than anybody's ever been in coaching. So I think our priorities have changed like radically in the last few months. I mean, as far as what the community can do for us, I would just say just stick with us. Obviously we've had a lot of positive momentum here the last year, with the success of a lot of our different programs. I think we have a really good administration in place here, a really good athletic director, and some great coaches. And so I just would say to all the folks that are listening in and just say, hey, we are going to be back. We will get to the other side of this thing. It may take a while. And when we do, just remember that we have a lot of really good things in place here. I think that we have a really good sort of, in my 14 years, I don't think we've ever really been in a stronger position for success. And, but it is going to be difficult. I mean, there's going to be budget cuts. There's going to be all sorts of things that are going to happen here in the next 6 months to a year that are going to be challenges for us. And I just would ask the people that support our program just to say that, honestly, we probably need you guys more now than ever, to be quite frank. You know what I mean? And so, as hard as it is to reach out and connect with people, it's very challenging. Just know that I'm happy to talk to any of you all anytime you want to talk. And certainly once we get kind of back into the swing of things, I hope that you guys can be back in force.
Absolutely. And how about you, Coach Katz? Round us out here with how our fans can support you and the team.
I think between now and then, when we're anticipating at this moment, again, just don't know for sure, but not having fans, I think the best thing fans could do now to support us or student body alumni would be follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Ryan York and my staff, Brandon Laird, they do a great job of posting things. And I think the more likes, interests, clicks, all that they get, it tells our guys people are following them and interested. Matter of fact, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, we had literally a world champion boxer, Jose Ramirez, that Zoomed with our team last night. And he's going to have a championship. He has 2 belts. I believe he's a light welterweight. I don't know boxing too well, but I know I'm a fan of him now. 20 minutes with our guys, 30 minutes with our guys on Zoom. So there's a lot of very interesting things that Ryan Bjork and my staff put on there. And I think it keeps our players maybe in your minds and in your hearts. And I think if you could acknowledge that any way you could, and, if you want to get to that newfound fundraising page and, get us some money, we always have to raise money for summer school every year. So we'd love that, although we are covered for this year. So anyway, that would be a great form of support. So
Great input. And I think social media channels are a great way for everybody to see that you support the team, all the teams, a team in particular. So I encourage everyone to search out the social media channels for your favorite team and post some words of support. I do want to mention the Sac State Athletic Fund, and make sure that you do know as viewers that you are able to go there and financially contribute and support our student athletes, and I'd encourage you to do so. I'd also encourage you to take a moment and join the Alumni Association. We made a shift in January to eliminate any membership dues requirements, so it's now a free opportunity to get involved. So I encourage you to take advantage of that at sacstatealumni.com and get involved. Hornetsports.com, find all your news and ways to contribute. And with that, I want to thank all of our coaches. Thank you for being here this afternoon and sharing so much about yourselves and your insights. And thank you to our viewers, our alumni, our fans for watching. We really appreciate it. And I'd be remiss if we didn't end this with a Stingers Up. So let's have it, everyone. Sac State is #1. Stingers up. Go Hornets. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cyril.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you,
You're
Cheryl. Thank you,
welcome.
Jennifer.
Have a great
All right,
evening,
coaches,
everybody.
have a great day, coaches. Love you, Coach Katz.
Bye.
Feel the love.